Hi everyone, it's Rana Hosseini, and on today's episode on Through Your Eyes, we have Niken Astari Carpenter, who's going to talk about her journey from selling ice in the streets of Indonesia to med school to moving to law school and eventually working as the new American Liaison for the City of Erie. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for the opportunity, Rana.
Tell me a little bit about who you are, what you do, and where you come from.
Well, my name is Niken Astari Carpenter. Originally from Surabaya, is the second largest city in Indonesia, from Java Island. So many people don't know much about Indonesia except Bali, right? Have you been to Bali before?
I haven't, no, I haven't.
Okay, yeah, but Indonesia is the vast archipelago in the world. We have 18,000 islands, and we have more than 2,800 ethnicities in Indonesia alone. So that's where I'm coming from. And Indonesia is located in Southeast Asia, right on the equator line.
Mm-hmm. And so what do you do now?
Well, I'm currently serving as the new American Liaison at the City of Erie, which means I'm the hub between the city and the refugee and immigrant community.
And so, tell me a little bit more about your childhood, your journey here to the United States.
Oh, okay. My childhood. Well, I grew up in this Surabaya. That's the second largest city in Indonesia. My parents were a teenager when they had me, so and we were very poor at that time. So at the age of 2 or 3, I was already. I had to support myself and had to work to support my family too. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry, it's not very pretty childhood, but I feel I see myself as a lucky person. I'm blessed because I got a lot of people open doors for me and welcome me. And for example, when I was 2, I sold, lolly ice?
No, I don't.
It's like a lollipop, but it's ice on ice on a stick. Okay. So my neighbor said that, hey, do you want to sell ice to make money? And I'm an opportunist. Like, oh yeah, I'll do that. So and I tried to figure out where can I sell this ice? Who like ice? Like, oh, I know, I'm a kid. Kids love ice. Mm-hmm. So do I. So I dragged 2 big buckets of thermos, which is probably bigger than me, in front of a kindergarten. And at the gate, the teacher came to me. It's this like big lady. Her name is Miss Anna. And she asked me, hey, what are you doing here? And I said, I'm selling ice. And she said, nobody is allowed to sell anything in front of my school. If you want to sell those ice, bring those buckets inside the class. And you sit here in front at the desk. And until the bell rings, then you can sell your ice to the kids. The bell ring again, you come back, sit down again, and then the next bell you can go home. So that's how she trapped me into education.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. So she took you pretty much off the street and was just like, here, come sit in this classroom. And wow.
Yeah.
And that's how your education started?
That's how I got to learn, yes.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that was interesting because I'm the eldest daughter in my family. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and I'm definitely the first person also in my family going to school because of that, but I'm the first person in my family going to university and was able to become a judge too in Indonesia. And it's not easy, Rana, because as I mentioned, I was not just selling ice. I deliver newspaper in the morning, and then at night I would help my grandfather and his wife to sell in the bazaar. And that was like a night market. So the market opened between 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. instead of, morning market or during daytime. So what I do is like 6 p.m. would come to the bazaar, help them to set up, and my grandfather, he was like one of the largest vegetable distributor. And so what I do is I help them set up as much as I can do, and then between midnight to 3 a.m., that's the time where I can either sleep or do my homework. And, because all my duty is done, right? I clean vegetable, I put tag to, like, this is belong to Rana, this is belong to so-and-so, my duty is done. So typically I would sleep on top of vegetable.
How did you end up in the United States?
I was serving as a judge before, right? And I got to know my husband and got married in Indonesia. And I migrated here through the spousal visa process. And it took us like about 1 year to process the transition. And it was not an easy transition. It was a hard choice, like deciding who's going to move where. I have my career there. My husband has his career here. And transition here also because I came here during the summer. It was summer 2011. And then, the summer in Indonesia, we don't really have summer. We only have 2 seasons. We have rainy season and dry season, and all 6 months. And throughout the year, the daytime and the nighttime were all equal, 12 hours. So here, like, there's time change and the length of the day change. And when I came here, 10 p.m., I was able to see the sun. And so as a Muslim, I thought it was the end of the day. I thought it was Kiamat. So I was just pray. And then my husband's like, what is happening? Why are you keep praying? And I said, the end of the day is here. Like, why? Look, it's 10 p.m. The sun is still up. And he's laughing. It's just summer in Erie. Yeah.
That's how it goes. And so, let's backtrack a little bit. So you said as a young girl, you were working like in the middle of the night pretty much. And was that like not dangerous? Like, was there like no violence? Was there no like kind of like predators? Nothing like that? And that did you have to like worry about, or like your parents had to worry about?
I didn't feel the danger. I mean, I see like people pickpocketing, things like that. But I guess that's why I said at the beginning I was just blessed to be alive, even to be at that nighttime work environment, and I'm surrounded by people who love me and care for me.
And so you came to the United States, and obviously you were a judge back in Indonesia. Is that something you pursued? Like, is that something you had to let go of? Like, is this something you're still pursuing now? So, like, how was your mindset when you came to the States?
It's a hard choice. That's what I said earlier. Because that was one of my dream jobs. When I was a kid, my dream job was either becoming a doctor or becoming a judge. Why I wanted to become a doctor? Because I see how, like, I saw my little brother die in front of me, and my parents couldn't even afford to take him to hospital because they didn't have any money. So I got admitted to medical school, but my father got sick, so I had to let go of my medical school and, focus on working so that I can support the family. And then when there's an opportunity to take the test, so in Indonesia there is like a national test for you to get admission to university. The following year, my friends keep encouraging me to take the test and, pursue my dream. So I took the test, get into law school in Indonesia, and it was a lot of heartbreaking. I mean, it was very heartbreaking because my first thing, I wanted to be a doctor, but I also wanted to become a judge because I saw how, in Indonesia especially, the law, the just were just not on the side of the poor. And access to justice, access to legal advice is so expensive for everyone, I think, who couldn't afford it. So that's the reason why I wanted to become a judge. And so deciding to let that go was not easy, but I understand, my husband's thought of process and reasoning why he wanted us to be together here in America.
Mm-hmm. First of all, you are an intelligent woman, because to go to medical school and then pursue law school, like, those are the two hardest field. Like, it's such a hard field. Like, I don't know how you did both. Like, I applaud you and I praise you just for that. And then to go through all that and then give it up, like, wow, like, that's unbelievable. What would you describe one of the toughest struggles coming to the United States, or not even in the United States, just in life? If you had to describe the one day where you feel like, wow, like, this is my breaking point, but you found a way to persevere, what would it be?
In America, I'm going to talk about living in America, right? The biggest struggle I see is ignorance. Ignorance is a big thing here in America. And after serving more than 5 years as the new American Liaison at the city, I see why racism and discrimination more than 400 years still happening here in America.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes, Rana, just because I look different, people sometimes assume that she's dumb. Or just because I speak with accent, they just think we're stupid. Yeah, it's still happening.
So do you have a specific experience that you want to share that, like, I know you're talking about, like, it happens, but, like, has there something that specifically happened to you that's, was like, wow, like, I hear about this, but, like, this is real. Like, this had just happened to me.
When I first started at the city, working at the city, I was the mayor's executive assistant and also refugee and immigrant liaison, so 2 different positions. Like, some people would call and just, verbal harassment, like, oh, you finally able to speak English, and then derogatory word for Spanish speaker. And it's just funny because I'm not Spanish. And then, somebody would come to the mayor's office and say, like, I would like to meet with your boss. And, well, the mayor happened to be in a meeting. How may I help you? I'm his assistant. And this person would say, like, I don't want to talk to an immigrant. Like, you're not even citizens. Like, oh, I am a citizen. Yeah, but you're uneducated. Like, I graduated from university. Yeah, from third world country. And I said, I graduated from Penn State, Baron.
Wow.
So,
ignorance.
Yeah.
Ignorance. And so was there ever a time where you're just like kind of fed up with everything, and you're just like, I just want to give up, like, or no? Do you feel like you've just always been, like, optimistic?
Well, there were times where I felt that, okay, I don't want to do this. It's tiring, I'm burning out, or things like that. But, Rana, every time I see my community, like seeing you, for example, it's just, it light up my fire again. Like, one day I go to the masjid, have pray during Jum'ah. Today is Jum'ah prayer. Kids would come to me, it's like, hey, Niken, I see you wearing tag, the City of Erie. So you work for the government here in America? It's like, yeah. And, like, so people like us can work in the government in America? It's like, oh yeah, you can.
Wow.
Or one time, it's Ramadan, right?
Yeah.
So one time, several years ago, a little kid come to me, 7 or 8 year old. He said like this, I saw you on TV last night. What did I do? You talk about Ramadan. It was awesome. You did a great job. Things like that. Or seeing how happy people, when they receive their citizenship ceremony, citizenship certificate during the ceremony, that was like, okay, now I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah.
And so, so you said a little bit about your why and why you do what you do, but if you could sum up exactly, like, why you do what you do, what would you like?
I would say it's, Rana, there's so many people put me in this place right now, help me to be where I'm at right now. So to me, it's sort of like a paid forward.
Mm-hmm.
So because there are times where I won't be able to pay certain people back because they probably either already passed away or they probably don't need me to pay them back, so it's a way to give back.
Mm-hmm. And you talked a lot about you slid in a little things about your faith, and so if you feel comfortable enough to speak about your faith, I am Muslim too, and I am fasting right now, so it's like I'm so excited like that we're having this conversation because I love when I meet other Muslims. It just always feels like it's closer to home. So if you want to talk a little bit about your faith and how Islam in general has like given you so much strength to kind of pursue everything you've done.
I'm not really, I would say, a religious person, but I do, I'm a bit weird, I would say it that way. Like, I don't, you see, I don't wear head cover. Like, some people would come to me, it's like, so you said you're a Muslim?
That's the question.
Yeah, why don't you wear your head cover? And now, keep in mind, I'm not trying to, like, pinpoint, but this one of the person who questioned me this was a nun.
Yeah.
Right, was a sister. So my question back to the sister was like, so sister, what does it mean to be a sister? Like, do you always have to wear your uniform? And so that's the beginning of a conversation. So you're talking about faith, and several years ago, because of a lot of people asking me, like, why don't you look like a Muslim?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or, oh, you're a Muslim, but why are you so nice?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that. Like all
ignorance.
Ignorance. So I started, me and several other friends who were clergy at that time, we started a group called One Table. So it's an interfaith and multicultural group to learn about each other's faith and belief.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I get that question often too. My mom wears a scarf. They're always like, when's your time? And I'm just like, how do you explain it to them? You know what I mean? They don't understand. But just try to help them understand. At the end of the day, is always my point of emphasis. But shifting back to everyone who you said, you've had a strong support system, but you didn't really like pinpoint. So like how relevant, or are your parents like still supporting you to this day, or your siblings? Like, how is your relationship with them? How is your support system overall?
My siblings were actually the one who kind of forced me into being a role model for them, right? Because I'm the oldest daughter, and I'm quoting Spider-Man, that with the great powers come great responsibility. Yeah, so I raised my siblings.
Wow. And they're in the United States?
No, they're in Indonesia.
Okay, still. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then your parents, are they still?
They're still alive. Both of them are healthy in Indonesia too.
And do you still talk to them often, every day? Like, how's that relationship?
Oh yeah. Now I don't just have siblings. Now I have two nephews, 4 and 6 year old. So we FaceTime or WhatsApp video call every day.
Yeah, WhatsApp makes everything easier nowadays. But would you say the younger version of you, little baby, Niken, selling ice cream or ice? I'm sorry. Do you feel like she envisioned her to be where you are today?
Not at all. I mean, I didn't really think much at that time, right? So I was just thinking if I were to work, probably just becoming, like vegetable vendor, just like my grandfather or whatever. I didn't really think that I was able to go to school, let alone to complete law school and became a judge, because that was never thought of that. Or even, after becoming a judge, never thought that I would move and live in America and become a new American liaison here. So
if another young girl from Indonesia sitting in this room right now across from you, and she doesn't have any hopes, doesn't have any dreams, what would you tell her?
Well, have a dream big, but work hard, because you have to put work into your dream. Dream is fancy, you can dream everything, but you have to make it happen, right? So in a way, how to make it happen, you also have to gain your knowledge, gain your skill, keep adding your value, and know your value is important, because people can treat you no matter what, as they please, whatever. They can treat you badly, they can treat you nicely, but if you know your value, Rana, that will hold you up. And again, keep your hope up, because there's always an opportunity for every one of us, right? All you need to do is look and keep looking and search and open up yourself to the universe, to the blessing. I think that's part of the thing that keeps me going.
Do you feel like you had to give up a part of yourself choosing to live in the United States versus back home?
What do you mean? Can you rephrase that?
Yeah, like, for example, when I left Dearborn, it's like Dearborn in Michigan, it's like a culture shock almost. And there's certain things, like, I can't speak Arabic all the time. The food's not available that, like, I have at home. And just, like, certain ways I communicate is all different. And obviously, when I choose to leave my community, that's a decision that I'm giving that up a little bit. I'm giving that part up. So, like, do you feel like there's anything that you've given up, or do you feel like culturally you just try to stay connected as much as possible?
Yeah, definitely. It's similar to that. We don't speak English all the time in Indonesia. We majority of us speaking in our mother tongue, our ethnicity language, or Bahasa Indonesia. That's our national language. And the culture is very different. Indonesian people tend to be more laid back, right? It's warm weather people. And here, people want to see you, make an appointment first. And in Indonesia, people can just come to your house and like, hey, hello, how you doing? So there's that, and of course the weather change. And I know people are gonna hate me if I say this. I love the snow.
Oh my God, yeah. We will agree to disagree on that. Honestly.
I love the snow. I think Erie is very beautiful place. This is what I think sometimes folks who live here miss that. That you're asking me about the time where I wanted to give up. So, because it was hard. Like, work was hard, life was hard, and I had to take a walk down by Press Isle, right? During the fall, it was the fall, and I asked myself, like, why, God, if you're really here, why? Yeah, I questioned it. If you're really here, why is this so hard? I mean, since I was a kid, I had to struggle, and then here, I'm this old, I still have to struggle. Like, what did you want from me? So. I took a walk, and then the wind blew, and the leaf fell down and flew by with the wind. And I look at those trees, like, oh my God, those trees are gorgeous, with the leaf that turned the color from green to orange, yellow, brown, and it was just like strike me that how the trees have this have surrendered the faith, surrender to what it's supposed to be, like giving up their leaf during the fall only to make it more look beautiful, right? The colorful. And then during the winter, when the snow sit on the branches, it's so solemn and beautiful. But they have the faith that I envy, because they have the faith. Yeah, I let go of my leaf, but I know in the spring I will spring again, I will bloom again, I will grow back again. So that kind of faith that just makes me like, wow, trees, I envy you. Or another time when I was driving, on interstate again, this is when time was hard. I'm like, do I really belong here in America? People, just because I don't look like them, they treat me like this. Traffic light, interstate, nearby Mill Creek Mall, you know that there's like a electric pole, and I saw bird bringing worm, and then went inside the electric pole, and I saw the bird going to electric pole. It's like the bird live in electric pole. That is not its natural habitat, definitely. But if the bird can live inside an electric pole, it's just like, to me, I just see it like, why can't I live here in America? It's America, Indonesia, wherever, Dearborn, Michigan, is all, you know, we're still in the same planet.
Wow, those are like two phenomenal moments. Like, wow, like that was unbelievable. For you to be able to take yourself from a moment of self-pity and just like see the world for what it is, and taking those little things that probably nobody else would look at and be like, why is that bird going to the pole? Like, we're just so focused on ourselves. So for you to be able to do that, like, you're such a strong and like powerful woman, and like you're saying all this stuff so like casually and with ease, but like someone who's been living in the States, and obviously my parents are immigrants, like I praise you guys. I honestly do. Like, for you guys to do what you guys have done and just do it with so much grace and faith, like, it's just unbelievable to me. So that's inspiring, very inspiring. And so is there like a motto or like a phrase that you live by every single day, like off the top of your head? Like something that you say to yourself every day, like?
You know, you're a Muslim, I'm a Muslim. Every time before we do everything, right, what do we say?
Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, right? So I believe in that, you know, in the Bismillahirrahmanirrahim means what? In the name of God, who is compassionate and merciful. So I believe in God that is compassionate and merciful, and that would I always come back to that, you know, like I always seek for grace. I don't know, we call it God, Allah, Yahweh, the divine power, Jesus Christ. Just seek for the grace of God and come back to that God loves us. That's how I believe. That's how I believe. You know,
he does. I'm sure he loves you, and wow, such a phenomenal story. So, if you could leave the audience with a few words, what would you leave them with?
I would say, believe in you, be authentic, never lose hope, and have faith.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today, honestly. And I hope there's one little girl that's out there, or, you know, one older girl that's inspired and moved, and we touch a life together as Muslims and just serving our purpose as God would love for us to do. So thank you so much.
Salam.
Here you go.